Our final major segment covers global adoption. And the data from the Microsoft AI Economy Institute report, it's really counterintuitive, especially given the level of innovation here in the U.S.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. The report confirmed global AI adoption reached about 16.3% in late 2025, but the distribution is, well, it's all over the map.
What's fascinating is the gap between the developers of the tech and the rapid integrators.
Exactly. Developed nations adopted AI at nearly double the rate of developing economies. But look at the U.S. Despite dominating model and infrastructure development, the U.S. dropped to 24th in adoption.
24th. How's that possible? That means countries like the UAE clocking in at 64% adoption, and Singapore, around 58%, are integrating this tech into daily work much, much faster.
What explains that divergence? I think it's likely a mix of things, but the data really suggests cost barriers and regulatory complexity are major factors here.
So while U.S. companies lead in innovation, the actual integration into legacy systems, especially by smaller businesses facing high subscription costs, it's just slower.
It's much slower than in these centralized, efficiency-driven nations like the UAE or Singapore, which can basically mandate adoption very quickly.
And this lagging adoption rate here makes the quiet rise of Deepseek even more critical. I mean, this is a model that often flies completely under the radar for most Western users.
Totally under the radar, yet it's dominating in markets that U.S. tech really struggles to reach. It gained major traction in underserved markets, showing usage rates 2 to 4 times higher across Africa.
And its dominance in specific, let's say, geopolitically sensitive territories is staggering.
It is. It holds 89% market share in China, 56% in Belarus, 49% in Cuba, and 43% in Russia.
So why is this happening? Why the massive geographic split?
Microsoft attributes a lot of it to just raw accessibility. Deepseek is helped by its free open source model and its partnerships with Huawei, which makes deployment easier and cheaper where infrastructure is limited.
But there's another factor, right? State policy and sanctions.
That's the crucial insight from the data. Microsoft claims heavy Chinese state subsidies are undercutting U.S. pricing dramatically. And they suggest that sanctions and the restrictive pricing models used by U.S. tech giants might be inadvertently creating this massive subsidized user base for Chinese open source models globally.
Especially where cost is the #1 factor.
Exactly. So for any executives or developers targeting new markets, the lesson is crystal clear. If you are competing on capability alone, you are losing to accessibility.
Deepseek proves that open source has to be part of any market entry strategy in the Global South.
That is the core takeaway. Reach and cost are currently outpacing raw capability in the global volume game.
Okay, before we wrap up, a quick rapid fire on some other critical ecosystem activity. It just shows the massive consolidation and development happening right now, particularly in regulated industries.
Right. On the healthcare front, this is clearly the next high-value vertical. OpenAI acquired the health data startup Torch for $100 million in equity, immediately grabbing its 4 employees.
And at the same time, Anthropic launched Claude for healthcare.
Yep. IPA-compliant tools, platform connectors, the whole package specifically for the medical space.
And on the collaboration front, NVIDIA and Eli Lilly.
$1 billion for a joint co-innovation AI lab in San Francisco, focused squarely on accelerating drug discovery.
And finally, just to remind us how fast basic research is still moving.
The Axiom Prover model achieved a perfect score on the 2025 Putnam exam, widely considered the world's hardest college-level math test. The pace of scientific breakthrough is just relentless.
Yes.
So, to summarize the day, January 14th really confirms the AI industry is maturing and consolidating at an incredible speed. The pivots are explicit. Meta moving from VR to gigawatt-scale compute.
And Apple partnering with Google out of competitive necessity.
Right. The battleground is shifting. It's no longer just about who has the quote-unquote best model. It's about who owns the gigawatt-scale infrastructure and who can achieve global accessibility through affordability.
And the most striking contrast for me remains the U.S. leading innovation, but dramatically lagging in adoption at 24th globally.
While subsidized, open-source models like Deepseek are winning in emerging markets purely on accessibility and cost.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to mull over.
If cost and accessibility are currently driving global adoption far more effectively than pure capability, does the future of AI standards belong to the systems that are the cheapest and easiest to distribute, rather than the systems that are currently deemed most capable by Western tech giants? Should we be measuring success by capability or by reach?
We'll leave you with that question to consider as you plan your week.